Hey everyone, welcome to Bolt from the Blue Tarot. My name is Sam. I'm an intuitive reader, a psychic, and I have a bunch of cards here that I'm going to read for you. Up first, though, not cards, but what I've come to call T-tabs. Let's see. Your actions prove your greatness. Let's go again. Breath is the voice of your soul. Oh. Guys, someone hasn't been meditating. And I'm getting that you know you're supposed to. You know you're supposed to. Don't click away. There's more for you here. I'm not going to lecture you. More? No, that's it. Okay. So, yeah. Your actions prove your greatness, right? We aren't actually a meditator if we don't meditate. Breath is super important. It's a beautiful focus. I'm not going to go long on this. You just, whoever you are, you already know the importance of it. And one or two of you might have been encouraged to take it up and haven't yet. Yeah, okay. So maybe you've heard about the importance of meditation and you just haven't taken the plunge because you're like, I don't know what resources you, I don't know what to do. Or maybe you know exactly where to go and what to do, but you haven't started yet. There's a few different storylines here, but meditation, super important. And actually the most difficult part is just sitting down to do it, because your ego mind will try to say like, no, we'll do a million different things, or we'll do that later, because the ego doesn't have a lot of relevancy in this activity. It's actually a non-egoic thing. It's this moment when you realize there is no observer, there is only everything being observed. Like there is no breather, there is only breath. And the ego, there's no handhold for the ego there. And so it kind of panics and makes excuses and stuff. I get it. I'm right there with you guys. I don't meditate as much as I should. Let me just, I'm going to out myself right now. I should meditate more. We can all use a bit more meditation in our life. And one thing that really helped me getting into it was a book called Meditation for Fidgety Skeptics. It's not at all woo-woo. It's very practical, but it's from the perspective of someone who was very skeptical about meditation, but learned a lot from the practice. And one of his big axes to grind is that just 1 minute counts. 1 minute of meditation counts. If you count your breath on the inhale 1, exhale 2, inhale 3, exhale 4, up to 10, that counts. That's great. That's better than nothing, And actually, once you start to do it, you find, oh, this actually feels pretty good, right? Helps you to get into your body and out of your head, and can really help you to slow down when things are hectic. But meditation is a practice. That's what this your actions prove your greatness is here to remind us. So take the plunge. Someone here is being encouraged. Meditation, not as scary as it sounds. Very simple. Not always easy, but very simple. Just make the time. And 1 minute counts, so. Okay, yeah. We're gonna go to some D&D cards. I don't actively play D&D, but I was directed to a bookstore. I was guided to a bookstore. And this bookstore was like way out of my way. And I was like, why this one? And then I got there and so many cards, you guys, so many board games. I was there for hours looking through them. And this stood out to me. This is one of the decks that I needed to get. So we'll see what comes out. Holy Weapon. Infernal Calling. I love these. I could only see the box when I bought them, and then when I cracked them open, I was like, oh, these are bananas. I love them. They're perfect. More? Holy Weapon and Infernal Calling. We reading any of this? Okay, no, I'm supposed to intuit this. Holy Weapon and Infernal Calling. Okay, so this is kind of epic, but my sense here is that either you have asked for, or it is part of your soul's journey to be made into a little bit of a holy weapon for the divine. Like you are... I wonder if I'm telling you something you don't know. No, you may have asked for this. You may already know. So you may have at some point prayed for, asked for, or desired, even in your childhood, to be made into a bit of a spiritual badass. You might have been like me and grown up watching some media that inspired you. Maybe you wanted to be a Jedi. Maybe as a child you asked for this, and maybe your time has come. But the thing about Jedi is they meditate a lot. Okay, what I'm getting from Infernal Calling, which is such a great name. What I'm getting from Infernal Calling is that this won't relent. Like, this is your destiny. And yeah, like you can ease this transition via meditation, of course. Everything is easier with meditation, with a bit of mindfulness. But yeah, I'm just getting that you're being made into a sacred weapon of sorts. I don't like to think of spirituality as like a war, darkness against light. So boring. But you know, when we ask to be of use for the highest good of all, sometimes what we get made into is a bit of a badass, and you're on your way from the sounds of it. Or you're about to heed the infernal call, because it won't stop. I'm just seeing like a phone that's going to keep ringing until you answer it. Yeah, one of those old-fashioned phones with a very shrill like ring. Yeah, I mean, the divine's a calling. May as well pick up. No, if it's for the highest good of all, you definitely should pick up. Don't take my laissez-faire attitude as You should pick up this one. All right, let's go. We are looking at the Oracle of Destiny. Bracelet. You guys, I pull this card all the time on the channel. Bracelet. What else you got, Spirit? Gonna be all the same cards? I'm getting a yes. Okay. Yep, Mount of Venus. I love these cards. These are beautiful cards. Influences. Head, dream. Doing more. Jupiter. Okay, so you're being pointed in more ways than one. I'm just getting that, like, if this is the first you're hearing about this, you'll hear it from other places. You may be intuitively pointed to this. You may hear this in a lot of readings. You might just have a sense of this. But what we're looking at is you're being pointed towards this feminine calm. And when I say feminine calm, I mean divine feminine aspects. So receptive, the deep mind, where all the goodies are, honestly, the subconscious, but this internal development, this going within. Intuition is a big one for you. Yeah, okay, so you're being intuitively pointed. And some aspects of this might seem kind of wild, like a reader might tell you that you're being made into a holy weapon and that you have to answer the infernal call. But I'm just getting less joking. Stop joking. Okay. I'll focus here. I was in the wrong mood for this reading. So we got, you're being pointed towards your intuition, which is this receptive gentleness. And what this is allowing is in these deep spaces of receptivity where you're available to your intuition, seeds that you've planted in the deep past, possibly, maybe even in childhood. I get a lot of, again, childhood energy from this, like childhood dreams. These seeds that you've planted as a child are growing in this like rich, fertile soil of the deep mind, of your allowing, your receptivity, your intuition. And it's, transforming you into a badass. That's what's happening. Like with Jupiter, I'm getting expansion. I'm getting power, but spiritually invested power. With, the eagle, this could even have shamanic aspects to it, but no, I'm getting for you. Yeah, that's the message from this. This one. Okay, yeah. Check this one out. This is the 78 Tarot Astral deck. Five of Wands. Queen of Pentacles. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's it. So, yeah. So I'm just getting like kind of dystopia, utopia energy from this. And this is all potential. Like this is all in flux. And there's a reminder here that your actions prove your greatness. There's a choice here. And this feels like an energetic choice. This is a choice that you will cultivate in these quiet spaces, in this receptivity, in this intuition. This will be an energetic realization about the kind of future you want to live in and your part in creating it. So we watch all the media today, and the negative stuff gets more clicks. It's sensationalized, and as a group, as humanity, if that's what we're paying attention to, that's what we'll get more of, right? This lack energy, this strife. Strife is really what I'm getting here. In this depiction, it's like, oh, if aliens exist, they're not here to help us. They're here to like harvest us, right? And then in this instance, it's like, look, aliens do exist, and they're far wiser than that, and they would like to help create abundance for all. Like it's these two perspectives, and you don't have evidence for one over the other necessarily. Like you're not going to be given cold hard evidence in this meditation space, but what you will realize is what feels right, what feels productive in terms of creating the world you want to live in, what feels useful, to use a Buddhist differentiation. We get really hung up on what's right and what's wrong based on the evidence that we can see, when really we ought to focus on what is useful and not useful in terms of what we want to energetically manifest. And this will help you choose, the far brighter option. And this is for, I was exposed to a really useful perspective that was like, because as new agey as it sounds, I really want to help create new earth, right? Like I want to live in this world of abundance where we choose the best timeline for humanity, where we work with the patterns of nature, we save the earth, we save ourselves, right? We choose our higher natures, and we lean into a bright and beautiful future with abundance for everyone. And the perspective I was given from another tarot reader, from a pick-a-card reading of all things, she was like, well, you're creating New Earth for yourself, which I had never thought about. I was like, I have to do something big to create New Earth for everyone. And it's like, oh no, like you can also just focus on your own little corner. The point is, you don't know what it's going to look like, but if you are being made into this holy weapon and you have this calling, chances are you might be doing something rather large to avoid this and create this. Like, I'm just getting like New Earth, Shaolin monk, badass energy. But it's less masculine than you might imagine. And I mean in terms of the doing principle, the get out there, rah, rah, rah kind of stuff, and more, at the beginning at least, receptive. Yeah, we're just going to go into some advice cards for you from my storybook deck. Daniel sanding the floor and waxing the cars. Oh boy. This is always a fun one to pull. I pull this often for myself. And it's a very useful card. So if you haven't seen The Karate Kid, which is interesting with the Shaolin energy, but in The Karate Kid, Daniel is taught by Mr. Miyagi, who teaches karate in a very unconventional way, or what seems to Daniel as unconventional. And he has him, rather than learning karate moves, he has him doing these repetitive actions. He says, wax all of these cars, wax on, wax off, and like sand the floor. And there are these repetitive actions that actually in the end teach Daniel karate, because they're so ingrained in his subconscious. Like his bodily he's been bodily trained to do these actions just from repetition. So when Mr. Miyagi goes to attack him out of nowhere, Daniel just reflexively does these moves, right? And it's like he was being taught karate without knowing that he was being taught karate. So this is a reminder to be present in your body, even if it's boring at first. It's all meditation, mindfulness stuff. So return to the basics and hone them with patience, faith, and renewed vigor. If you came to this reading and so far you're like, Sam, I got this, I know all about this, I meditate every damn day, then this is a reminder to just continue doing what you're doing. Or if you've a little bit like fallen off of the wagon, now it's time to come back. There's a message from the Karate Kid where Daniel, in the end, spoiler for the Karate Kid here, but he is able to defeat these other Karate Kids. I don't know what to call them. Sparring partner, like these other practitioners of karate, martial artists. There we go. He's able to defeat them even though they know all of these fancy moves, because he has worked the basics so thoroughly. So there's a reminder here that your spiritual development does not have to look super fancy. You don't have to know all of these fancy moves or do, you don't actually have to be a Shaolin monk, right? You just have to be really well versed in the basics. The fundamentals will take you a lot farther than any fancy tricks. So yeah, this card asks, when was the last time you sat and watched your breath for 10 minutes? It's a reminder to ground yourself in your body. Ground yourself with the breath. There's also something here about when was the last time you prayed, for instance. Like meditation can feel like going from not 0 to 100, but like 100 to 0 really quickly. It can feel like slamming on the brakes compared with our normal fast-paced life. Prayer can help to bridge that gap because it still feels like you're doing something. So whatever prayers you like, read them, and as you read them, you will become calmer and your body will start to regulate itself, like regulate its nervous system. There's all kinds of benefits to prayer that aren't directly like asking for stuff from the divine. It reminds you of your place in the universe. It grounds you. It brings you into your body. It calms your nervous system. And from that place, meditation will feel a lot more natural. It's kind of the off-ramp to get you there, if someone would benefit from that. And it can also bring you into a mindful state. There's a reminder here from the Karate Kid about, like, someone here might really want to be this badass. And well, you should. Like, as long as you're doing this for the highest good, you will be supported. And if you keep putting in the effort, you will become the spiritual badass. Trust me. But there's a reminder here about why, because Mr. Miyagi teaches Daniel about why he learns karate, because Daniel is a hot-headed young man who wants revenge against some of the boys at school. But Mr. Miyagi reminds him that we learn karate so that we don't have to fight, right? So if you're practicing the basics, the fundamentals, the energy hygiene, the meditation, the prayer, your spiritual defenses are already so strong. And your light body, like taking the light body to the gym every time you do this, and it feels like, I don't know, I don't have any fancy equipment. I don't really know that I'm doing it. I don't feel like Zeus here, but in the 5D, that's what you start to look like, right? You become this badass, even if you're just like a petite little person. So yeah, make time, schedule into your routine a little bit of time for meditation and prayer. A solid prayer, less than a minute. So start with that, and then maybe 2 prayers, a couple of the Psalms, or a couple, you can also, like, there's lots of different kinds of meditation. I'm jumping the gun here, I think. Yeah. There's probably another card about this. More cards? No, I'm just jumping the gun for where you are right now. You'll get there. You will get there. There are some people who their entire lives, the only meditation they do is watching their breath. And they feel it fully. They choose one spot, whether it's your chest, maybe your stomach around your belly button, or one that really helped me was the base of the nose, like viscerally feeling the air flow in and then out of that spot. Typically you choose a spot, or you can feel your entire body and just feel the in-breath and feel the out-breath. And you'll be distracted by thoughts, but you just note them like a feather alighting upon a crystal glass. Just like, oh, there it is. And then you return to your breath, right? And you don't judge yourself. And that is the fundamental mindfulness meditation. And you could do that for the rest of your life, and you would become Mr. Miyagi. Like, that one exercise could take you all the way. That one exercise will make you a spiritual badass. Okay, something else that's being brought to my attention. The counting can really help. Sometimes we feel like we need something to grasp onto, to feel like I understand this activity. So as you inhale, just note lightly in your mind 1. And as you exhale, 2. Inhale, 3. Exhale, 4. Up to 10. And then what do? You start again. 1, 2. And once you feel like, Sam, I can do that in my sleep, great. do this instead. The inhale and the exhale, that's 1. The inhale and the exhale, that's 2. Inhale, exhale, 3. And you can get to this point where you're like, I'm breathing to count, right? And you're like you're like banking these numbers. And that's not what it's about. The numbers are a gentle noting of the feeling of the breath. They're like a bookmark to keep you on track so you know where you are. And sometimes you'll count past 10 and you'll realize that you counted to like 22, and that's okay. Just go back, start at, breath 1 again. And that's the whole thing, guys. That's the whole thing. Once you have that mastered, you don't need the numbers anymore. And just feel the breath. As thought distracts you, note that you have been distracted, and that is a win, right? We can feel like that's a loss, but that is a win. That's the whole process. That's the practice. Notice you've been distracted, bring it back. Gently but firmly, with this like feminine gentleness, masculine firmness. And yeah, good luck becoming this holy weapon. If this is you, get at me in the comments. Let me know how your training is going. Okay, one last thing, just because it will help someone. You can join a meditation group. And sometimes these are Buddhist oriented, but don't worry. It's not like if you've been raised in the Christian tradition, like you go to the wrong church and you get judged for not knowing the correct ways to behave and all the rituals and stuff. You go to a Buddhist church, they're a lot chiller. They're a lot chiller in my experience. If you don't know what you're doing, they'll be completely understanding. And typically it's just primarily meditation. And they might meditate for 20 minutes, they might meditate for 40. They might involve a walking meditation, which can really help if you're action oriented, but you can look into that as well. A group meditation, there's a different energy. And it also keeps you committed to a schedule, right? Like every Wednesday night, I go to the group meditation. I meet nice people. I remember why I do this. And in community, in Sangha, they call it in Buddhism, we meditate together and I feel that communal energy. And it is very different, right? If you're on this path, you're going to be someone who senses energy on some level at some point, and you will notice a palpable difference from doing this in person eventually. Yeah, and it just helps to feel like you have a team. And occasionally someone falls asleep in the group meditation, and that's always fun. Someone's snoring. And that's just something else to notice, right? And to notice with a humorous attitude. No judgment, right? There's no judgment when you're meditating. It's all good. Okay, message delivered. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I will see you in the next one, and happy meditating.